Lord Ironhawk's son, Jordan Hassan, Althea, and Drum, the blacksmith, search for Balthan, Althea's magician brother, the only one to know the truth about the evil infesting the land of Britannia. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Hembar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Lynn Abbey's The Forge of Virtue. Ultima, The Forge of Virtue is a 1991 novel by fantasy, legend, Lynn Abbey. This is, of course, set in the Ultima universe, and it is one of 5 novels, I believe, set in the Ultima universe, one of 2 written by Abbey. Starts off with Lady Barbara Ironhawk, dame of the manse Hawksness, preparing for a feast, and the guests are about to arrive. This is northwest of the city of Trinsic in Britannia, of course, which, if you're an Ultima player, you'll know that. I actually have never played Ultima. I played it on a private server, which is not set in Britannia because it was a reworked map, but I've played Ultima online at least. This story takes place after Lord Britain's disappearance, and Lord Blackthorn rules in his place, making this set during the time of Ultima 5, I believe. Peace has mostly dominated the land, as something like torture seems archaic to our characters. And our characters are Jordan Hassan, the eldest son of the Lord and Lady Ironhawk, and their ward, Althea. She is about Jordan's age. I think slightly younger. It's been a few months, actually, since I read this book. But she also has some magical capabilities as well. Jordan is eager to begin his quest to gain the virtues, though no one has ever gained all 8, of course. He is, I think the Avatar and Lord British have, right? I'm not actually 100% sure, but basically no one, I think, includes normal people. He is only 18. His father wants him to wait until he's 25, and he, of course, doesn't want to wait. It is quickly brought to Hawknest's attention that Althea's brother, Balthan, has gone missing. Balthan is a magician who served Britannia, of course. Althea has some magic capabilities, but it's, I guess, not that impressive. Does come in handy sometimes throughout the story, though. Althea is a rather innocent but determined young lady, and rather likable, as is kind of typical, sadly, with a lot of older fantasy. You have the main characters being guys, even when the book is written by a woman, and that is the case here too. We also have Drummond, though, or Drum. He is sort of a love interest, but love is rather juvenile, and not really a love interest in some ways either. Like, that's probably not the right word for it, like a crush, maybe. That's really not the focus of the story. But it's interesting to see Abbey write something that's not really adult. It's kind of YA. We also have a character, Squirts, which is Jordan's younger brother. He's kind of a minor character. I won't really talk much about it, but because spoilers. So there is a following adventure. It's rather slow paced, though. I think by a lot of standards, considering how small the book is, for people who like slow paced books, that's not a big deal. Also, if you've read Lynn Abbey, that might not surprise you. I've not read everything by Lynn Abbey, but the few things I have read by her are generally very character focused, and I'm a real big fan of how she does characters, actually. It's very much, in some ways, an acquired taste, because she does it in a very unique way, I think. And that's something I appreciate. It's just kind of, it's very much a lot of showing rather than telling. So you get to know these characters pretty well, but because we get these small experiences that would happen in, like, everyday travel sequences, that you normally don't get written that much about. So in some ways that can be boring, I think, to some people. I find it pretty fun, honestly. I just like Abbey for whatever reason. So there is an adventure that follows. There is magic. It requires components like Dungeons & Dragons, as many authentic old magic things had. But, it's interesting having these characters that ground the world in some ways in the mundane, not in a negative context, but mundane in a fantasy world. And it still has that fantasy feel, because I'm not using mundane as a negative here. If you don't find the characters interesting quick enough, you probably will be bored with this, though. Also, the blurb on the back kind of spoils like something that happens more than halfway through the book. It's not like super important, but maybe just skip the blurb. And there is a sequel to this book. You kind of don't get all the answers you're wanting by the end of this book, so I would like to read book 2 at some point and hopefully get some answers. So anyways, this is Liam from Liam's Lyceum. Let me know if you've heard of this one or plan on reading it. It has some good Ultima lore in there for Ultima fans, and it's just fun, character-driven work by Lynn Abbey. So I'll catch you next time.